Welcome to Future Hidden Movie Gems. Today, my co-host...
Tatiana. You got so silent.
Welcome. And I'm super excited. Today we've got a fun movie.
So fun.
Exactly.
It's a documentary, so you know it's lots of fun. No, it really was a very interesting documentary. Loved it. I'm just saying, like, usually documentaries are, like, slow and boring. Well, in the olden days, they make documentaries in general really exciting these days. I'm digressing. Anywho.
Yeah, there's some amazing ones on Netflix. I'm thinking of personal ones that I like Never Sleep Again. No, that is a quote from Nightmare on Elm Street. I meant to say, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead.
Oh.
That's a documentary about...
Is it about insomnia or something?
No.
Partying? Is it about FOMO? I'll keep guessing.
I can't think of his name. I could think of his song, Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, Will Smith?
No. Aoki. There you go.
Oh.
He performs with... I know he doesn't do Pursuit of Happiness. That's Kid Cudi. Anyways.
Is Pursuit of Happiness a song title? Or
Yeah, but he does it. He remixes it. And then his thing is he throws cakes in people's faces.
Oh, fun.
And he just like travels so much. Like it's exhausting watching hence he says, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Because he's just like nonstop go.
Oh, gotcha.
And then obviously there's some amazing ones like Making a Murder. Like all the murder ones are so much fun. They're so interesting.
I need to watch one of those someday.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I did watch one.
We need to watch The Staircase together. That one's crazy.
Yes, we need to watch that.
Because, you got those crazy juries. Oh, boy. It was so funny watching that with Nick because he just said, oh, no, he's in so much trouble when he saw that. It's remember Bernie when they saw all those redneck people on the jury, they were like, oh, boy, this guy's in trouble. Same thing. Nick said the same thing when he saw the jury for this character because they were just a bunch of conservative rednecks and the lady kept emphasizing that he was gay to try to make sure that somehow makes him guilty.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. Today we're talking about a very fun documentary called Catfish. Also another recommendation by YMS, believe it or not. I am just on a roll with these recommendations by him.
It's funny. He recommended Cache. And also Catfish.
This one, I don't even know where to start. So the first time I saw it, I was just like an emotional mess because at the end, like, just what a twist. Like at first I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a thriller. Like this is the craziest thing when they're driving to that barn and my wife turns to me and says, is there something scary?
That was the only potentially scary part and it didn't end up being scary.
Yeah. But it's if anything, it's stressful. Like you don't know what they're going to go into. Like even if it wasn't the family or the person that had been writing him, he had no idea if it was like his brother joked it could be some guy.
Yeah. Well, and once they got there too, even though the husband of the lady had nothing to do with it, the brother of the main guy was like, that guy creeps me out. I need to go back to the car. Like he got really scared.
Which is even more funny. Cameron pointed out the fact that he was actually the one like pressuring him to go in. He's like, no, we got to go through with this.
Yes.
And we got to do this. We came all the way out here.
Yes.
And then after he met the dad, he's like, I'm getting really bad vibes from this dad. Like, we got to get out of here. I want to go.
Yes.
So funny how he switched his opinion.
Yes.
They kept talking about leaving multiple times while they were there, but I'm so glad they stuck with it because such a fascinating and interesting story.
Yeah.
And then even like as they were digging up the story from her, when they finally met her, it still, wasn't everything. Like she still was lying about things. It's like she just could not confess.
Yeah. And for those who haven't seen it, it's a story about someone who gets catfished. And in this situation, it's the guy that gets catfished is a photographer and his photo is in a big magazine. And then this woman, she's a painter and she draws a painting of that photograph and sends it to him, says this was drawn by my 8-year-old daughter, Abby.
Well, we talked about that though. We think that would be because those photos, if you had said it was from yourself, it would come across maybe creepy because it's not like as endearing as if you said, oh, it's from my 8-year-old daughter. And also because like they're really good paintings, but saying they're from an 8-year-old is like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Yeah. Then it makes it something worth responding to.
Yeah.
And he did. He responded back saying thank you. And then she kept sending things, more and more things in the mail, more and more paintings, and then she, as herself, as the mom, would talk to him on the phone and be like, oh, we just appreciate so much that you're letting our Abby, giving our daughter Abby such inspiration and letting us send you all these paintings or whatever. And then she proceeds to introduce him to, quote unquote, everyone else in her family, including her 19 or so year old daughter, Megan. Well, really what happens is the mom ends up talking to this guy on the phone in kind of a different voice, saying that she's Megan, and she created 15 fake Facebook profile accounts, and this guy just didn't realize it until she started, the daughter character started saying that she was creating music, and he checked the audio files that were posted, claimed to be by Megan, against the internet, and found the exact same, clearly the same recording, same singers, and saw that was not Megan. It was these other people. And that's when that's the first time that he realized, like, wait, what? This whole thing, this is not what it seemed to be. And then he started to do some more research, and
it's not what it seems.
And then he and so the cool thing is that his brother and the other friend, they are professional videographers, and this main guy, the photographer, they all work together in the same workspace in Manhattan, New York. And the videographer friends, they were filming him, and I think it's because they just thought, like, oh, that'd be cool if we documented this really cool interaction he's having with this prodigy child paint artist. I don't know exactly why they started.
Child paint artist?
I was going to say child painter, but that seems...
You kind of sound like the little girl when she's like, I'm a bunny rabbit.
Yeah, so the reality is the little girl does not paint at all. It's all her mom. And once they fast forward to
Which was a great reveal with her friend when she's like,
yes,
paint? Yeah. She doesn't paint.
Yeah. Okay. So these guys that are making this documentary, and they document the whole discovery of, while they're on the internet looking and discovering that it's not the same music artist, and then they're like, okay, that's how this film is taking. That's the direction this film is taking place now. Like, they had no idea before that that's how it would be. And then by the end, they go and visit. They find the people. They find the lady and her real family, and anyways, yeah, there really is an Abby, and she's 8 years old. But yeah, they discover that she's not a painter or artist when they talk to her and her friend.
Yeah, well, and there's so many aspects that I love about this documentary. One being the main kid just seems like all three of them actually just seem like good people.
Yes.
Like when they were in the car, I mean, especially as a documentary, I feel like if it was made by any kids today, there'd be a lot more swearing, there'd be a lot more disrespect, and making sure they embarrass this woman that, essentially really hurt this kid. But there seemed to be so much more emotion in this because it was very real. Like this, you look it up, this is the first movie or real thing this kid has ever been in as far as movies go. Mm-hmm. Because so it's a documentary about what actually happened. He was like genuinely interested in this woman, and who he thought was Megan, and turns out it was, like my wife said, an imposter, or I don't know if that's as the right word, but somebody. Right. It's the whole idea of catfishing, which mm-hmm. is pretending to be somebody you're not. And when he finally met her, it just, and you could see the pain in his face at the end. Like mm-hmm. he's just like, I'm tired, I want to go home, and he just didn't want to be there because he had got really emotional with this person. He had mm-hmm. gotten vulnerable. He had opened up. He had this idea that maybe something will happen with this person. I know he kind of, clearly had some barriers put up because he was like, oh, I don't know if it'll actually work out. And he just kept saying things to try not to give himself too much mm-hmm. hope and excitement about a possibility of it being anything more. So then I'm sure it was all the more devastating when he found out none of it was real. Like, fabricating all of that. Like, it's amazing the length she went to have 2 cell phones and a home phone, so you have 3 different phones to fake it, to have 15 different people and then all have them commenting on the pages and create drama within those mm-hmm. posts. It's astounding the amount of detail this woman went to mm-hmm. and the length she went to. and like to change her voice so she could be two different people on the phone, to give like all her different little excuses and of why things, so she could keep lying, just all the lies. And so it's no wonder. I mean, I imagine, I mean, not everybody is maybe as optimistic as me, but I like to be more trusting, and it seemed like this kid did too, and he just wanted to trust this woman. And that's why it was interesting when the first song, he found that first song that wasn't hers. And then suddenly he's like, oh no, like what else am I going to find out about this person that's not true? Because, I love through, as they're like kind of digging up more things, there's just like little things that you're like, that seems a little odd. Even when he first heard her voice, he's like, oh, you're not, how I pictured you. You're much more mature.
Yeah, he wasn't suspicious. He just made the comment, and I think she was probably freaking out like, oh no, he's going to figure this out. But he didn't, but still, yeah. Your voice doesn't match what I thought it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't match.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they were finally having that discussion in the car, and I loved what you said to me afterwards, is you just said you loved how much respect and mature these guys were.
Yes.
It just said, we're not about to embarrass this woman or be mean to her. We just need her to know, like, we need her to confess and tell the truth. And then
what did he word it? Something like, we just need a kind confession from her. That's not how he worded it, but
because they noticed, they said, really, it's just kind of a sad woman. And it was like, the more they uncovered, the more sad her story was. Like, I think the most real moment, and the moment I got emotional at was when she said she had to make the choice to stay and essentially sacrifice the rest of her future to raise these handicapped kids.
Yeah. And
it was so sad because, it's just like constantly dealing with that. And then just what she gave up, and I did also like what her husband said, like I told her, like, if you need that, then go after it. But if
your dreams, because she likes dance and art and who knows what else.
Yeah. And he's like, if that's what you want, pursue that. And she chose to stay. So, but I think with that comes, I don't know if she has split personality disorder, but I think it's more of just her feeling like she needs an escape, to essentially be these people that she wanted to be, and essentially have what she feels like she lost. And so she's created these alternate people essentially to live out the fantasy that she has in her head.
Yeah, because she knows that she wants a stable house, family life, all that
security,
insecurity. Yeah, that's the reason that she said she was staying. So she knows she wants that more than those other things, but she still wants those other things, and she never really pursued them. And so this is kind of her way to feel like she is pursuing them, I guess. Yeah, and also when you were saying, that he was trusting. Something too is that this took place in like 2008. This was really shortly after Facebook was even created, and so catfishing was probably not even really well known back then yet. So even more reason that he was just completely shocked when he found out it wasn't real.
Well, early stages, yeah. It was because everything was so new and so fresh. It's like now it's like obviously more. I imagine they go about it differently because of technology, but I feel like it's weird because I feel like it's easier to do these days, but also
people are more suspicious these days.
Yeah, maybe. Even how we met, through an app, like you constantly, always say that I had older pictures of myself, but there might have been one picture that I took a couple years ago, but I did have.
You also had a recent photo.
Yes, a recent photo. The only reason is because I have a beard now, and I wanted to show what I looked like without a beard, and it had been so long since I even took a photo of myself.
Oh, yeah, so you had to do young, early 20s Jordan.
Oh, I don't know about that young.
Yeah, okay, younger.
Yeah.
Anyways, also when we showed up to the first date, we're wearing masks because we were in the lobby of the restaurant and it was required in our region at that time. And I couldn't see all the features of your face. Plus, you were wearing a hat. I honestly didn't even think you were the same person from the photos. And I remember, and I thought in my head, did he send a roommate to go for him? Like, did he not end up wanting to go on this date with me after all and sent a roommate? And then when we finally sat down and you took off your mask, I was like, oh, okay, there's his smile from the photos. It's the same guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's crazy like how much you can essentially manipulate people through technology and like
Yeah.
how easy it is and like well and this was like we were mentioning the early stages like internet was still fresh like he had the like earliest stage of the iPhone and I that was another thing I just absolutely loved in this film was how well they integrated technology and like from the opening when the world spins. I always love when the opening credits does something creative and clever and it starts at the house and then it zooms out and you see the world and then he spins it with the mouse and then it's Universal pops up. I love when they get creative with things like that. Very fun. It makes it so much you just know you're in for a treat when like Tatiana also said people are getting more and more creative with these documentaries and it's very much set up in that time. You said 2008, right? So it feels like 2008 because of all the technology they're using, all the old cameras, all the kind of that digital era. So it's very fun because you can tell it's definitely that decade. So
Yeah.
very fun as far as period pieces go.
Yeah.
And it not only does it feel so real, but it's amazing that this kid doesn't do acting because like he just seems like he'd be a great actor.
I know you kept saying that.
Well, because he's so real and genuine. I mean, I guess because it's a documentary, but
Yeah.
some people get so camera shy, and if this is his first one,
Yeah, he wasn't shy. Yeah, I see what you're saying. He was being genuine and real. But you almost wondered, like, well, is he acting because he wasn't shy at all? But yeah, you're looking it up online. It's confirmed. Yeah, he was just. This was not staged. This was not acting. This was
yeah,
his real reactions. I loved the part too, where his brother and friend were like, "Well, I thought you wanted to keep going." He's like, "I don't want to make this documentary." And then he said, "Okay, fine, don't make it." And he's like, "What is that like? Do you think I'm 6 years old? Are you gonna try basic reverse psychology on me?" Anyways, that was a funny scene.
Basic brother stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did lots of that. You know.
Oh yeah, you brothers do lots of that.
Yeah, my goodness, like I can't say enough good things about this. I highly recommend it to anybody that likes not just based on true story movies, but documentaries. Like, I know in the past, if I heard the word documentary, I'd be like, ugh. But they are seriously getting so good now. I'm just thinking of the Free Solo. Like, that one is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Or the Grizzly Man. Just these documentaries, they're getting... I was going to say so real, but they were always real.
Yeah.
But they're just able to tell it in such a like dramatic, interesting, like character-driven way, where it's like it feels like movies.
Yeah, and this one's especially cool because they really did not know what was going to happen. The documentary makers were completely just documenting real life as it unfolds, and they were not trying to manipulate it at all. And they just were seeing, okay, what happens? And like, I mean, even the Free Solo, like at least they knew like what's gonna happen. Like he's gonna climb a wall, like he's gonna climb the mountain. Here, like they started documenting it even before they knew it was catfishing. And then once they found out it was catfishing, they were just filming as they go. They were filming as they drive to the barn that apparently Megan lived at and walked up to it, not knowing if someone actually, at 2:30 in the morning, drove up to it and got out of their cars. Oh, that was the nerve-wracking part. Not knowing if, like, some farmer that actually owns it is going to come out and shoot at them or something, get off my property. And then knocking on the door of the actual woman, because she gave her real address, knocking on that door and having no idea what is going to happen, and they could tell people were in the house, but they weren't answering it at first. Like it was like nerve-wracking. And then she kept lying for, what was it, like a day or something. They stayed in a hotel, and then but they would come and visit and do meals and then go to a beach or whatever, like with Angela and main lady and then the daughter. And then sometimes they'd go to their house where her husband and the two disabled sons were. And Angela kept lying, kept going on to lie. But because these guys were just like so good-hearted and good-intentioned, and because they stuck with it, they were able to get her to finally admit that, she fabricated all of this. But like Jordan said, she still was lying while she was, quote unquote, telling the truth, or coming clean or whatever. She's still little things like, oh yeah, I created that account based off of a family friend, when in reality they learned later that was some random profile of a professional model that lives in Washington, not at all in Michigan where this family lives. Or she said when she was, quote unquote, coming clean, there is my daughter Megan, from a previous marriage or whatever, and she is in rehab right now. Because that was the way he kept trying to meet Megan when he got there, and before he told her like, hey, I know this is all just a scam. He kept trying to like text her and see like, hey, I'm here. Are you gonna come? And she kept saying, yeah, I'm coming. And then she said, I have to come clean. I am an alcoholic, and I got checked into rehab tonight or whatever. And so it's like Angela's like way of explaining away her absence. Anyways, and so Angela, when she was coming clean, quote unquote, said, yeah, there really is a Megan, and she really is in this rehab center. They found out later, no, there's zero Megan. There's no daughter. Anyways.
No, well, there's a lot of twists and turns. Like, just when you think, well, I actually, I don't feel like I had any idea what was going to happen, except based off the title, because Catfish now is a more familiar term, except my mom didn't know what it was when she watched it. As
she was watching it, she was like, that's so cool that she's sending her the photos that she made as an 8-year-old. Like, yeah,
it's just fun, especially when you finally, I just feel like there's big pivotal moments, and then I just remember the feeling too of like, when you first meet them, you're like, oh my gosh, this woman needs to come clean, and like she needs to tell. But then as soon as you get to know her and her story, you just like,
she's such a good, nice person. Yeah, sure, she was doing all these lies, but she is seriously like just a tortured artist or whatever, but she's just such a kind sweetheart.
Yeah, and it's almost like you just feel sad for her and what's going on. And what a way to divert your expectations is so well done. Yeah. And then it never slows down. I was just thinking of like, even down to when he just mailed a letter and then found it at the mailbox, and like that she hadn't picked it up. Just like tiny little details like that, I just have respect for, because it is fun, because I felt like there was that kind of stuff throughout the entire film. I felt like there was never a moment that I'm like, all right, let's pick this up. Because and some documentaries, it's like, okay, this part of the story is getting pretty slow or boring.
Yeah.
But there's always something interesting visually showing, or there's always next part or piece to the puzzle. Mm-hmm. And this one, I mean, I've seen it twice and I loved it both times. First time was very emotional for me, and the second time was really fun seeing it with people who hadn't seen it and kind of sharing that experience with them. And after a while too, I feel like there wasn't so much to say, but I just love thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a impressive film, especially because I feel like there's so much like disrespect and hatred in the world. And so it's really refreshing to see somebody that's still good.
Yes.
And despite the fact that she essentially really hurt him, like that's 8 months he wasted, really dedicated to this imaginary girl.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he could have easily been super mad at her and taken it out on her, but instead he chose to forgive her. And I think they're even Facebook friends to this day. So at least based on, the last shot of the screen. Mm-hmm. And then I looked into it, and I even started watching. He started a whole TV series about catfishing, and then
he did.
Yeah, and then finding other people. There's like 7 seasons.
7 seasons?
Yeah, he and his brother, like, they just when people are like, I don't know if this person's real, can you come? And some of the stories I'm like I wonder if they knew or some of the stories I'm like, okay, well, did they just want to be on television, and did they know that they're being catfished?
Oh, interesting.
Because the first lady, I'm like, you couldn't tell this, because when I heard the kid's voice on the phone, I'm like, he is like 14 years old. There's no way.
Oh, man.
But anyways.
So now I'm torn about whether I actually do want to watch those episodes, because
maybe
they're not as good.
Maybe I know it's not as powerful as this movie, and the music it reminds me of Nathan For You, where it's like manipulating you, like that. Nathan For You is doing it to parody that, but because they started the TV series right after the movie, it's very 80s, like soap opera-y. Oh. Or not that, like what's some shows that just like I was thinking of the Kardashians, but like TV series that are like about like kind of like the Kardashians. What are shows like in like Florida? Those shows. What are they called? Are they just like the people are fighting, those like family drama stuff?
Oh, are you talking about like housewives shows?
Stuff like...
Or Bachelor and Bachelorette shows?
Yeah, stuff like that,
okay.
Yes. It just feels like it's drama for drama sake. Just, manipulating people with the music, and then like over-dramatizing things. And, even those shows have writers when they say it's all Lifetime or real. And I'm sure they write some of that stuff too, but... Anyways, getting back to this movie's amazing. So regardless to the show, I definitely think people should check out the movie, even just to watch it once. Like if documentaries aren't your thing, at least this feels a lot like a movie. Very suspenseful, very interesting. It gets you emotionally. I mean, at least I did. I know. I mean, I might have been more emotional than Mom or you, because I think just because of kind of how crazy the situation was, you guys were both like, oh, this girl's crazy. Like, but I mean, did you feel emotional for her at all?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I was just shocked my mom didn't cry. Usually she cries and everything. So, but I think because she was just so shocked and shook by this woman and how crazy.
She's just like processing everything. Like, it's a brand new thing to think about.
Yeah. I mean, Cameron brought up a good point. She is like almost like split. She just has like playing 15 different people and all fragments of herself. Like, it's almost like she has split personality disorder. Crazy.
She doesn't, though, because she said...
Well, I know, but...
Yeah, it is like it. Because she said that she had... The only way that she could keep track of each person's story and what they had already said is because it was all on Facebook, so she could go back and read it. She said, though, because she lied to her husband and said that all these paintings she was sending out were being commissioned by this main guy. And for that, she never wrote down what she had made up as far as how much each one sold for. So she was having a really hard time keeping up with her lies on that. Like, she would hear her husband be like, how much did this one sell for again? She's like, she's trying to remember like what she told him previously, because it was a lie. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
I will say that the scene with, for me as well, it was like so fascinating the whole time. The only scene that felt a little slow, a little like, okay, we get the point, move on, to me was the scene where when they found the music and they discovered that online. Like, they kept looking for more and more songs. Like, after they discovered that one song was fake, they checked another song and found that it was fake. And I feel like they checked even a third song and found that it was fake. And they showed us like that whole thing on camera. And that's just me personally. That's just my personal taste. Like, I felt like they could have just shown us one example and moved on. I don't know. It's fine. It just felt a little long to me is all I'm saying.
I disagree, especially when I heard that Truman song. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah, that was fun to listen to. We love that movie.
Oh, yes. And I just love when camera zooms in closer and tighter until you just see kind of the not blur, but it's kind of like a digital, like you get
Pixely?
So close, pixely, thank you, look. Just because it's like, I don't know, it's a great shot. I love it, and they do it too in Uncut Gems. They love those tight shots, but there's a few that they just keep going closer and closer and tighter, and it's almost like you're being enveloped into the film, into the grain, and you've become a part of it and just kind of mashed into the whole situation, just like into her lies, into all this craziness that has been created by the internet, or not by the internet, but by this woman using the internet. Anyways,
But no, that's just my tiny, tiny little nitpick. I loved it otherwise.
it's perfect. So
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry. I'm sorry for saying I nitpick. I'm so sorry. Just kidding. I'm not sorry.
Or as Ty would joke, do you think I like hitting you?
Hitting or kidding?
Hitting. No, he would say that to his wife in public.
Say the whole phrase again.
Do you think I like hitting you?
Oh my gosh! Does he even get the reaction that he's like?
He gets a few people looking over, like, what did he just say?
Okay, I'm glad he gets a reaction out of it. It gets a little payoff there.
But I can't remember if he started that or Sebastian did. One or the other started it, and the other person loved it so much they started saying it to their wife in public.
Oh no! Now you're reminded you're gonna start saying it. That'll be funny. I'll go along with it. I'll snap back at you. We'll see. I'll be like, "You're sleeping in the doghouse tonight." That's like super old fashioned. Anyways, well, also, what's really cool, I think, too, is that these filmmakers, these documentary makers, whatever, were such good, kind people. And because of that, she really did open up to them and admit everything. And also, they still stuck around. They had lots of conversations. Like, they were still able to just have really human moments with her. And she felt comfortable to confide in them, like, things like, sometimes I don't know who I am. And she said sorry. She was very sorry. Like, all of that would not have happened if they were any other, like, typical person, at least typical person in these days, that gets catfish. They would be so angry. They'd be very confrontational. They would try to get revenge even, maybe. Who knows? But it was just so cool to see how these documentary makers were not trying to make a documentary to exploit human experiences, but because they truly wanted to celebrate humanity. And I love that. That to me is a pure purpose of documentaries, and I love that they did that. And I love when documentaries do that. And it's really, I'm not saying like that I know of other documentaries that do the exploiting thing, but they do exist. And anyways, it's just, and definitely like a lot of YouTube videos I feel these days do that. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I just really, really liked how good these people were and the humanity of it all.
I don't know.
That's right.
Did I show you that video?
Yes, when we were like, even before we were dating, just going on dates. Yes, I would say that all the time when you showed me that video.
Onyx the Fortuitous. Tiny Wines. I don't know.
Funny. So yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah. Oh, I recommend it for sure. So great.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.